And they're immediately blaming Triple H like they always do. He's the scapegoat for anything that happens wrong in WWE. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think that the whole Pat McAfee situation was a Triple H call.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I don't. I honestly think that it came from way higher up. I've read things, and also the consistency and it just the things that Pat was saying in his promo and the things that Cody was saying in his promo, which I am going to talk about. It's giving you beat a mouthpiece for somebody else. That's what it's giving. Let's just briefly talk about what happened on Friday Night SmackDown. So it was revealed that Pat McAfee was the one who was on the phone with Randy Orton. He was being that voice in his head. And what's crazy that this is happening 2 weeks before WrestleMania. Last minute Susan. And the reaction was mixed. And that's at best. Some fans are confused, while others are frustrated, pissed all the way off. And apparently even backstage, I've seen reports that not everyone was on board with this whole thing. And I can understand the confusion, because Pat, of all people, the beloved Pat McAfee, former commentator, WWE, sitting alongside Michael Cole. And for me personally, if you guys even would wonder what I was thinking when I first saw Pat come in looking all cool with his RKO shirt and his glasses and little cowboy belt buckle and all the things, and I'm just like, okay, Pat's back, yay, Pat's back. But you kick Cody Rhodes in the huevos and then proceed to cut a promo that seems sort of left field. But once again, I'm getting ahead of myself. But let's just talk about some of the things that I've read in the news. So according to reports, they're saying that this wasn't even a creative decision. Having Pat McAfee come out and be the one who was in Randy Orton's ear, that wasn't even a creative department decision. That was actually, these are the reports, they're saying that it came from that TKO executive chairman, Mr. Ari Emanuel. That's where they're saying it's coming from. Apparently it was done to boost interest in the show, ratings, that corporate synergy with ESPN, get people more invested, get people to buy tickets to WrestleMania. Oh, we want this so bad. But it seems so freaking, it seemed random, because it was. And at this point, TKO is scraping anything that they can for last minute ticket sales, because if you've been watching what other wrestling content creators have been putting out in the past, like the ticket sales, like if I go on Ticketmaster right now, there's so many seats left. Crazy work. And here it is. Here's the core take, because I feel like people are missing the bigger picture here. Because every time I go online, I go on social media, I'm looking at YouTube, I'm looking at the pulse and seeing what's going on, what fans are saying, what wrestling content creators are saying. A lot of them are very focused on critiquing the creative department, more specifically Triple H. But there's only a few wrestling content creators that are seeing that it's not just a creative problem, it's a TKO problem. And more, let's just pull out the camera even further so we can see the bigger picture. It's more than just a TKO problem as well. It's a power problem. It's a power struggle. It's a tug of war of power. Yes, Triple H is still running the day-to-day in the creative, but he's not the only voice.
I said what I said!
And fans have got to start seeing that and facing that reality. And I'll say, to the benefit, that I understand why fans only focus on Triple H. He's known. Every chance that they get, they have Triple H come out to present something. He's there. He's in Gorilla. He's the face of WWE. So in turn, when things go to poop, who are the fans gonna blame? They're gonna blame Triple H. And now I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I'm in those creative meetings or I'm in gorilla position or anything like that, because I'm not. I'm just here. I'm a Wrestle Camp, so hello. The news that's coming out, and based on what I'm seeing in the product, like, come on. Come on, it's more than just creative problems. realms. It is a power struggle between the creative department and TKO. I almost said TKO, but I'm not gonna go there. Let's just get a little bit into Cody and Pat McAfee. Let's start with Pat. So listening to Pat McAfee cut that promo, first and foremost, I was, okay, of all the boring stuff that's been going on in these storylines, on these shows, in these 3-hour shows be taking me through it was a breath of fresh air, I'll admit it. Like I said before, I like Pat McAfee a lot. Him cutting that promo, my first reaction before I started really analyzing what he was saying and really trying to make sense of it. At first, I was just like, okay, I feel like he's speaking for the fans. This is probably my naivety. He's speaking for the fans. How pissed off we are with the product and how WWE is today. It's freaking sucking right now. Like, it's just not the business. But then, as I ran it back in my brain another go, it seemed now more than ever that it was a big FU to the creative department and a big FU to Cody Rhodes as the golden boy. That's what I got from that. Reportedly, I'm not gonna say we know, we don't know. We see the reports, we see the news that it was a call from Ari Emanuel, the TKO executive chairman, who wanted Pat to be a part of this storyline and be inserted in. That makes me think, is there anyone in Ari Emanuel's ear? Now granted, yes, it's all about, boosting sales for WrestleMania. Booty cheeks. We need some surprise. We need something that's just gonna shake things up and make fans care again. So they have Pat turn heel and cut that crazy promo and kick Cody Rhodes in the huevos. Okay, but to me it sounds like Ari had someone else in his ear. Okay, it's giving that. That's why I said I feel like Pat and Cody were mouthpieces. But then you think about Cody came out after all that happened later on in the show and cut his promo, and some are saying reportedly that he went into business for himself and he was pissed off. So to me, Cody was cutting his promo. It seemed like it was a big FU to TKO and the higher ups. That's what it felt like. I'm just like, okay, everyone is airing their dirty laundry and they draws out here right now on Friday Night SmackDown. This is crazy. And it Cody Rhodes' promo, it was giving like somebody someone creative was in his ear. That's what it felt like. And what I'm seeing right now, especially after watching SmackDown in that whole situation, I'm seeing, like I said before, I'm seeing a tug of war. I'm seeing a tug of war backstage. Creative versus corporate. Storytelling versus business moves. Long-term direction versus short-term boosts. And it's starting to show on screen and it's gross. I don't want to see your issues backstage come onto the screen. I'm not interested in that. That's not what I watch that for. And I'm sure that's not what fans watch it for, especially if it's not going to produce really good storylines, really good matchups, develop superstars. And I don't know about y'all. You guys can let me know in the comments down below what you think, but maybe I'm putting on my conspiracy hat. It's my favorite hat to put on. It's almost like creative is saying, if you don't want to back, and they're talking to TKO, if you don't want to back what we're doing here, then fine. F you. I'm not able to put work into this. I'm just not. You're just going to screw it up anyway. Things that we've been working on the whole year leading up to WrestleMania. You just want to come in and interfere and interrupt stuff, interrupt the flow. Freak you then. These celebrities are popping up more now than they ever have before because it's getting too much. It's getting really excessive. You have iShow Speed. He's been coming in more and more. Jelly Roll, Lil Yachty. Yachty's? I don't listen. No, I don't. And then Pat McAfee. And what's interesting is, like I said before, Pat McAfee was a former WWE commentator. He's been there for years, but he stepped away. So then him coming back as a talent to boost sales for WrestleMania, he just blends in like all the other celebrities that are being pushed in for the show. They're even bringing back John Cena to host WrestleMania. And I'm sorry, like, let's be real. This is not for nostalgia. We all know this is to boost interest. This is to boost sales. This is to get more eyes on the product. And then we're hearing that Gronk is going to be involved in WrestleMania this year. I think he's going to have a show. What is it? Gronk Beach WrestleMania After Dark. Like, at some point you have to ask, like, for real. At some point you have to ask, is this about the product or is this about the money? We are all aware that WWE is a business. And what do businesses do? They make money. TKO is a business, the parent company of WWE. They own WWE. They're all about money. And for a company to pay $9 billion to acquire another company, they're going to try to get all the dollars and cents and pennies back. And I understand that. They're about their bottom dollar. But when the product is going sideways, when the product is not producting, when the shows are not producing the same as they were before, then that's going to affect the revenue because people are becoming less and less interested in it. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I don't get it. Like I hate the entertainment industry. I really do. There's just so much corruption. There's just so much just conniving, just greed and ugliness just in the entertainment industry in general, in Hollywood and all of the things. Like, I'm not a big fan of it. And this greed that TKO has is it's just lava. It's just pouring out like just a big volcano, just like swallowing up everything in its path. It's frustrating as a wrestling fan to watch it. This is the part that TKO is failing to recognize, whether they know it or not. I think they do. I think they're fully aware and they just don't care. Fans aren't just mad just to be mad. Like, we're just not pissed off, just like, it's not just for our health. We're mad because we're invested and we're investing in something that is not producing. And then you look at everything that's happening all at once and it starts to feel like a strategy, not storytelling. Pat McAfee, Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes. Because instead of building something meaningful with the talent that they already have, and this, not just the whole Randy Orton, Pat McAfee, and Cody Rhodes thing, I'm going to broaden this even further with bringing in these celebrities. You could just use the talent that you have. But instead, WWE is constantly reaching outside to create moments. And I'll speak for myself. That's where I get frustrated, like really frustrated. It's so cringy. It makes you start looking at the roster like, oh, I guess they're not. I mean, you need to bring in these big guns to make things interesting. Like, it feels like the roster is taking a backseat to the people who are not even part of the weekly shows, the weekly product. And let me just say this now, because some of you might be like, what, you don't like celebrity? They've been doing this for years. It's way before TKO takeover. Vince was doing this. I understand that. And I'm not against celebrities being in WWE, being involved in WWE. That's not what I'm saying. And like I said before earlier in this video, like Pat McAfee, he's been around. He was with WWE for years as a commentator. And then you have Logan Paul, like at this point, he's a full-timer at this point. Like, he's in the division. Him and Austin Theory tag team and doing it up. Like, I get it, but this is too much. This is way too much, because wrestling is at its best when stories are carrying everything, and stories are not carrying everything at this point. It just feels like people are being plugged in for headlines. And then you combine that with what is going on behind the scenes. It's trying to satisfy too many different agendas all at once, and it looks schmeshy. That is why, for me, the product just feels inconsistent as a whole. And this is one thing I have not mentioned. Ari Emanuel is Pat McAfee's agent with WME. He works with Pat McAfee. Like, hello? Ding, ding, ding. That is not a coincidence. So it makes total sense that Ari would be the one to bring him in. And then I'm seeing in some of these news reports that Ari Emanuel is trying to make Pat McAfee the next Sylvester Stallone. Are you freaking kidding me?
Hey, stop it!
Sorry, you are not Rocky, you are not Rambo. What is this? What is this? Little agendas, and then you're just gonna use your biggest vehicle to do that. And it just looks all over the place. And like I said before, we all know this, TKO is a business. They're focused on ratings. They're focused on ticket sales. They're focused on partnerships. I get that. But they're not thinking with the wrestling fans in mind. They're thinking like executives. And that is where the disconnect is. And look, I might sound like a conspiracy theorist. Like I said before, I will put that hat on with pride. But I don't think the influence stops at Ari Emanuel. I think it goes. I think there could be other voices in the background, in the ear of Ari making that decision to insert Pat McAfee into that storyline with Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. I don't even think we needed that. I don't think that TKO was like, WWE needs that. No. And what voices, what other people do you think I'm referring to with Ari they're in Ari's ear? I don't know. People like Rock, people like Vince. What? Because that decision, it's giving, we're gonna air out our grievances through Pat McAfee's promo. That's what it's giving. And don't get me wrong, creative has not been perfect. It has not. It is not. It's been getting worse and worse. But putting it all on Triple H, it just sounds tone deaf. I really don't believe it's accurate. This is not bad booking. This is a company trying to scrape everything that they possibly can to get the last bit of the people who are on the fence of whether they were going to go to WrestleMania 42 or not. This is so effing random. We're going to keep getting those moments because TKO is going to do what TKO is going to do. I would suggest you guys to remember and keep this in your thoughts about the power struggle that's probably going on behind the scenes, because you're probably going to see it on TV. You're probably going to see it in the product, unfortunately. Is Vince going to come back? It makes me wonder if Vince is really going to come back. And hypothetically, if Vince came back, or that was like a future thing that Vince is coming back, like it's in the works, why in the world would creative have incentive to keep producing great stuff, like top tier stuff, knowing that eventually they're just going to be thrown out the window and they're just going to like, no, we don't need you anymore, Vince is back. That makes me think about things as well. But like I said, I might be conspiracy thinking right now. But guys, let me know in the comments down below what you thought about everything that I talked about today, about the WWE power struggle with TKO and all the things and the money, the greed, and all the booty hole, booty cheeks foolishness that is going on right now that we're seeing. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more episodes. Thank you guys so much for watching. Signing off. Bye guys.